Hello, our names are Rishin Patel and Oliver Gunn. Our science fair project is how is heart rate affected by different exercises that isolate certain muscle groups? Acknowledgements. For the success of this experiment, I want to thank my parents, Hemal and Hedal Patel, who helped me carry out this project and provided advice and support. I also wish to express my gratitude towards my science teacher, Mrs. A. Bocek. Lastly, I express my sincere thanks to Mr. Travis Lobbins, the Prairie Middle School principal, who gave me the honorable opportunity to participate in this event.
For the success of this experiment, I would like to thank my parents, Michael and Kathleen Gunn, who helped me carry out this project and provide advice and support. I also wish to express my gratitude towards my science teacher, Mrs. A. Bocek. Lastly, I express my sincere thanks to Mr. Travis Lobbins, the Prairie Middle School principal, who gave me the honorable opportunity to participate in this event.
Purpose. The purpose of the science fair project is to determine how heart rate is affected in different amounts by exercises that isolate certain muscle groups. Isolating certain muscle groups allows us to test them by themselves. This can help us determine what characteristics of a muscle increases heart rate the most. Essentially, why do some muscles raise heart rate more than others, and what characteristics enable them to do this?
Hypothesis. If you're exercising a certain muscle group for a fixed duration of time, then it'll raise your heart rate from your resting heart rate based on size, because more muscle mass equates to a greater amount of blood flow to it, thus raising your heart rate more than smaller muscles.
Circulation. There are three types of circulation in the human body. The two main ones are coronary circulation, which is within the heart, and pulmonary circulation, which is to the lungs. Aerobic respiration is the process where cells combine oxygen from the blood with glucose to create water, carbon dioxide, and adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. The science behind heart rate. When people are exercising, muscles require more ATP, and the heart has to pump more blood. Cardiac output can be measured by multiplying stroke volume by heart rate. When exercising, cardiac output increases by 5, 6, or 7 times. Since the stroke volume never more than doubles, the heart pumps blood faster. The heart rate also increases to pull more oxygen into the bloodstream.
Target heart rate. Target heart rate is defined as the minimum number of heartbeats in a given amount of time in order to reach the level of exertion necessary for cardiovascular fitness. Sustaining a workout at the target heart rate improves endurance. Knowing your target heart rate can help you plan fitness goals. The American Heart Association recommends that exercise should increase a person's heart rate between 50 and 80% of that individual's maximum heart rate. This is a chart representing target zones, their benefits, and the percentage of maximum heart rate that they reach. Resting heart rate. Resting heart rate, or RHR, is the number of times the heart beats per minute while resting. Resting heart rate can be affected by factors like stress, anxiety, hormones, medication, and how physically active you are. Any moderate to vigorous activity will lower resting heart rate. Resting heart rate can affect the amount of time an individual lives and the risk of death.
Actin and myosin. Sarcomeres contain myofilaments, actin and myosin. Actin and myosin are blocked by protein bodyguards, tropomyosin and troponin. When an action potential is sent, the action potential triggers the release of calcium, and when the calcium binds to troponin, it pulls itself and tropomyosin away from the actin strands. The actin uses an ATP molecule, which is why muscles need ATP during exercise, to extend and attach to myosin, causing sarcomeres and muscles to contract and movement. After the myosin combine and contract, the energy stored is released, and the myosin tears away from the actin. This is a diagram of a muscle connected to a tendon. The perimysium, epimysium, and endomysium are layers of tissue which keep the muscle fibers together during movement.
The different needs of muscles. While exercising, muscles need a larger amount of oxygen than other muscles not being exercised. Each muscle has its own arteries and veins. These include where the biceps and triceps brachii have the brachial artery. More muscle equates to more oxygen being needed. This leads to fatigue and spikes heart rate. More muscle means more cells that require blood, which means that the heart has to pump blood faster to larger muscles than smaller ones, raising the heart rate.
Variables. The dependent variable, meaning what we're measuring, is the participant's heart rate after exercising. The independent variable, meaning what's changing, is the exercises that are being done. These include knee push-ups, lifting weights, sit-ups, and squats. The control variables are the amount of time exercised, the age of the participants, the rest time, the amount of water drank, the Apple Watch being used, the hand weights, and the temperature of the participant's surroundings.
Materials. During a project, we use lots of materials. These include chairs, Apple Watch with rubber band, disinfecting wipes, water, which was 118 milliliters per person, 118 milliliter measure, 1 pack of small plastic cups, iPad to record info and for a timer, curl up test cadence video, participants, 2.25 kilograms hand weights, cloth to wipe any perspiration, gymnastic mat, and dry napkins.
Procedure. Part 1. First, we set up all materials on a surface. Then we sanitize the Apple Watch and make sure the person wears it. They go to the heart rate app and ensure their pulse is being measured. We make the participants in the chair and ensure they do not do anything exerting. We record the participants' information, including their resting heart rate, on the Google spreadsheet. Inform the person the exercises that they will be doing and the order. We tell the person to begin the exercise when they hear the man on the fitness timer counting. We open the clock app and set a timer for 2 minutes. We also have YouTube up with that fitness timer. We begin the 2-minute timer when exercise begins.
Part 2. Continue exercising until the 2 minutes have passed. If the participant feels fatigued, allow them to rest for 2 to 3 seconds. Once the exercise is complete, record their heart rate. Have them sit down and drink 118 milliliters of water. Give them a cloth to wipe off any perspiration. Next, make sure resting heart rate is reached before continuing onwards. Repeat steps 6 to 11, but rotate exercises. Upon completion, ensure that all of their data is collected and send them back. Finally, remove the Apple Watch's band, sanitize all materials, and clean up the area. Results. The average resting heart rate was 78 beats per minute. The average heart rate post lifting weights was 104 beats per minute. The average heart rate post squats was 131 beats per minute. The average heart rate post knee push-ups was 116 beats per minute. And finally, the average heart rate post sit-ups was 115 beats per minute.
Data and charts. This is a chart of our resting heart rate versus heart rate after knee push-ups. This is a chart of our resting heart rate versus heart rate after lifting weights.
This is a chart of the resting heart rate versus the heart rate after sit-ups. This is a chart of the resting heart rate versus the heart rate after squats. This is the table in which our original data was recorded. This is the raw version of our data.
The chart on the left shows the participant's heart rate with respect to their maximum heart rate, and the chart on the right shows the participants' increase in heart rate from their resting heart rate. Data observations. We can make a clear observation that squats had higher values for its minimum, maximum, and mean. Thus, squats raise heart rate much more than lifting weights. When we took percentages relative to the maximum and resting heart rates and averaged them, squats raised the participants' heart rate 69% from the RHR and 63% of the MHR. Lifting weights raised the average participant's heart rate from their resting heart rate by 34% and brought it to 50% of their maximum heart rate. 13 participants had squats as their highest percentage of increase and lifting weights as their lowest percentage of increase.
Knee push-ups for sit-ups. Knee push-ups had a higher average and a higher maximum. Sit-ups had more variation with a larger range and a larger minimum percentage of increase relative to the resting heart rate. Knee push-ups raised the heart rate 48.6%. Maximum 101%, minimum 23%. Sit-ups raised the heart rate by 49%, maximum 85%, minimum 29%. Percentage of increase relative to the maximum heart rate. Knee push-ups brought the average participant's heart rate to about 56%. Sit-ups brought the average participant's heart rate to about 55%. From all the data, knee push-ups surpassed sit-ups 2 to 1, therefore making it raise heart rate more than sit-ups.
Data analysis and discussion. We look back at our original data and set up a norm. Most people were supposed to have increased their heart rate, most for squats and least for lifting weights. 8 out of 20 of our participants fell under this norm. Why? Squats work out the largest muscles in the human body, the gluteus maximus and the quadriceps. Lifting weights worked out relatively smaller muscles, the triceps and biceps brachii.
During sit-ups and knee push-ups, the heart rates stayed very close to each other. However, the knee push-ups raised it a little bit more because it works out more muscle. Knee push-ups exert a combination of the core and arms, as well as other chest muscles, pectorals, deltoids, etc. Sit-ups work out only the core, while knee push-ups exert the core slightly, but combine other muscles. This further proves our hypothesis of how bigger muscles will raise your heart rate more during exercise. Larger muscles or groups of muscles then lead to more blood being needed during exercise. Conclusion.
Based upon our findings and research, we have concluded that larger muscles or groups of muscles will increase heart rate more during exercise, regardless of whether the increase is calculated with respect to your maximum heart rate or your resting heart rate. Thus, our hypothesis was correct. Therefore, if you are exerting a certain muscle group for a fixed duration of time, then it will raise your heart rate a certain amount with respect to your resting heart rate compared to other muscles because of various factors that muscles pertain, such as the size of the muscle, among other factors. Experimental errors. As you can see, we had many experimental errors. Some of these mistakes occurred only once or twice and were taken care of. These includes the Fitbit's efficacy, the sanitation process, measuring heart rate, and inefficiency. However, some of these errors were ongoing throughout our testing period. These include the limited time frame, the amount of time needed for the heart rate to decrease back to its resting state, the amount of time until a reading for the heart rate was found, and others. However, our testing was quite successful in all.
Practical applications. Our project is very practical because it can help you choose what exercises you want to do based on your fitness goals. It can show people which muscle groups are safe to work out if you have an existing heart condition or you choose to do low impact exercises. It can also help you know how long you should be doing exercises to reach your target heart rate. And finally, it helps you know what the benefit of exercises will be based on what muscle you want to work out. We had numerous references for our project. You may view them in our slideshow or paper.
Thank you for viewing our presentation. We hope you have a great day.